Yeah, it's not coffee this time. Vitamin C drink. Just I'll try to get rid of this cold. Now then, welcome. Hello. How's it going? Crawler edition of RC Newsflash today, because it seems that a lot of manufacturers have released a crawler at roughly the same time. We start off with Traxxas with a new version of the TRX-4. Now, it's no mystery that I'm not a big fan of Traxxas at all. However, I will admit that the TRX-4 is a fine RC, a world-beating RC, one of the best crawlers on the market. And they've released a new version, the TRX-6, 6x6. Now, it seems that they're sort of somewhat pissing on Axial's chips right now, because Axial very recently announced the UMG 10 6x6, which is a ready-to-run unlicensed Unimog, Mercedes Unimog. Well, the Traxxas is a fully licensed Mercedes G63 AMG 6x6, which I absolutely adore. I mean, the AMG, not the Traxxas. I absolutely adore the AMG 6x6, and the Traxxas just captures it perfectly. It does look phenomenal. It also has better specs than the Axial. The Traxxas, like the TRX-6, like the TRX-4, has the portal axles all round, and it also has a 2-speed transmission. The Axial has neither of those things. So the Traxxas looks better, and it has better specs. It also has adjustable on-the-fly differentials using the transmitter. You can lock or unlock 3 differentials from the transmitter. Again, something that Axial does not have. So it's shaping up to be a bit of a mighty RC model, this one. There are a couple of things I'm not too happy with, though, on it. First of all, I fully believe in calling out manufacturers when they lie to their customer base. Traxxas did this with the release of the version 2 X Max, when they claimed on the box, I think they fixed it rather quickly, but they claimed on the box that the version 2 had larger diameter drive shafts than version 1. I'll put a screenshot up, you can see they did say that. That wasn't the case, that wasn't true at all. People measured it, including Rich RC Models, who I've mentioned before, who sometimes comments on these videos. He'll attest, he measured it, they're the same size, so that was a lie. The blurb on the new Traxxas says, Traxxas scores another first, the first RC with lockable differentials on the fly with the transmitter. That's not true. What makes it seem extra scummy, though, is that Arma were the first to introduce that with the Nero. Do you remember the Diff Brain? They called it the Diff Brain. And it was Traxxas who sued Arma. And it was over the Nero, so they're fully aware of the Nero because that's the model they sued Arma over. So the company that invented the Diff Brain was Arma. Traxxas sued Arma over the cantilever systems on the Arma Nero. Cantilever systems they didn't invent, but anyway. So they're fully aware of the Nero and all the specs, and yet they're still claiming this is a first for Traxxas. I think that's a bit scummy. I don't like lying to your customers, but that is almost like a little jab as well. I don't like that at all. Another thing is, on that sentence it says, scores another first. Traxxas scores another first. Well, with all the respect, Traxxas, you're not known for innovation at all. You rest on your laurels better than most. So I'm not very happy with that, but you know, that doesn't change how good the model is. The TRX-6 looks fantastic, and it will perform, you know, incredibly. So, you know, it's not going to reflect on the model themselves. I just don't like the way the company conducts their affairs, and yeah, that's not very good. However, got back to the Axial versus Traxxas thing, with the UMG 10 versus the TRX-6. The TRX-6 seems to hold all the aces, with the exception of price. The Axial retails at, I think, $450 US. I believe it's $450 US. I can't find a concrete, nailed down retail price for the Traxxas as yet. It seems to jump around a bit. However, I have seen listed $750 US retail. I have seen that listed. That's a big difference and a big chunk of money. Somebody mentioned that Motorsport in the UK listed at £730, but that's gone. It's not listed anymore. Yes, price is a big factor. However, can you buy a UMG 10 and fit a 2-speed transmission? Yes. Can you then fit portal axles? Possibly. Can you then fit on the fly lockable differentials from the transmitter? Probably not. So the Traxxas seems to hold all the advantages in terms of spec, even if you do plan on spending money on your axial. But, you know, maybe there are sort of very talented people out there, maybe they could do that. I don't know. The point is, right now, the TRX-6 seems to be the ultimate 1/10 crawler without anything really being able to hold a candle to it in terms of spec and in price. But there you are. It looks good. Just wish Traxxas would drop all that horrible PR stuff. News from Gmade. Now, I've always wanted a Gmade Komodo and never got around to getting one. But now there's a new one. Sort of. It's called the Gmade Komodo Double Cab, and superficially the new body shell does resemble the old Komodo, and some of the scale parts, like the snorkel, the flared arches, the luggage rack, some of them are compatible and some of them are included. But it's not the same chassis as the old Komodo, so it's not technically the same thing. The old Komodo was the GSO-1 chassis, the new one is the GSO-2 chassis, the same chassis that comes with the Gmade bomb. So although it's called the Komodo, it more closely resembles the Gmade bomb. The difference in terms of spec, it means the new Komodo has the torque twist reduce gearbox, the torque twist reduce transmission. So basically, if you've got one drive shaft turning one way, the other one will be turning the opposite direction, which stops that torque twist where you see crawlers leaning over to one side if you're accelerating forward. This should help reduce that because one side of the car is trying to lean that way, but the other side is trying to lean the opposite way. It cancels itself out. That's probably the biggest thing that differentiates this between this and the old Komodo. And the other thing is, the old Komodo had axle mounted steering servos. The new one has a chassis mounted steering servos higher up out of the way with a panhard bar to make it look more realistic and you don't see a servo. It's also trying to reduce bump steer. So it isn't the same chassis as the old Komodo. It should perform better than the old Komodo, which is really annoying because I still really want an old Komodo because I still think it looks the best. What it doesn't have, this new GSO-2 Komodo, doesn't have the laid down shocks as standard that the bomb has. I don't know if you can just literally adjust them again, but the bomb has the shocks horizontally, whereas the new Komodo, the double cab, has it shocks upright. Looks good. I should really look up a retail price, shouldn't I? I should try that, shouldn't I? Yeah, I did look it up. $280 US. This is a kit, by the way, not ready to run. Seems perfectly reasonable. Yep, $280. Pretty happy with that. I don't know how that's going to translate to pounds. Probably 4,000. This next item is from Carisma, a very underrated company. Yes, they have their, and I hate this name, just bleh, their scale chassis, SCA-1E. It looks like scale, SCA-1E chassis. Just, no. I don't know why, but that just really just rubs me the wrong way, that. I'm going to make a scale chassis, SCA-1E. Anyway, for those in the know, apparently it's actually a very, very good, capable chassis. And it looks fantastic as well. The Coyote, for example, is just one of the best looking. In fact, Carismas in general, their entire range, every body shell they make looks great. I've yet to see a Carisma that looks subpar. Their touring cars, their buggies, their short course trucks, a lot of them, they all look fantastic. And they also have now a new one to add to that. 1986 Subaru Brat on this SCA-1E chassis, the scale chassis. Yes, the same Subaru Brat as that comes with the Tamiya. Although for once Tamiya seem to have been outdone in terms of details. I mean, I know it's an old model though, so you could let them off. But this new Carisma scale Subaru Brat looks fantastic. The details are great, and as I said, the Carisma chassis is apparently very well regarded. I've never had any experience with them, but in terms of budget-ish, they're sort of in between. You know, you got your entry-level stuff like your FTX, your ECX, and then high-end stuff, Axials. in the middle is exactly where the Carisma sits, slightly towards the cheap end. And but you apparently don't skimp on parts quality or details or anything. So yes, ready to run without a battery, 330 I believe, $330 US. Pretty reasonable, and that's pretty damn reasonable. So yeah, check that out. I think it looks great. And our final news for today comes from Tamiya. They've released some teaser pictures of the new CC-02. Now, it is a big departure from the CC-01. They've gone down the more traditional route for crawlers for having a ladder chassis, 4-link suspension, and live axles, front and rear. Completely different from the CC-01, which had the bathtub chassis. It had independent front suspension and live 4-link rear. Now, this will make it a more realistic, so have better scale realism, better crawling and climbing performance, but I'm a bit sad. I'm a bit sad about it, to be honest, and I'll tell you why. Yes, there's a car going past. Yes, this change will make the CC-02 more capable at crawling, more capable at climbing obstacles, more capable at tackling hills and inclines. But the market is absolutely saturated with these ladder framed realistic 4-link, 3-link at the front when you talk about the HPI, 4-link live axles. Saturated. These models are everywhere. The CC-01 was unique. The independent front suspension and the live rear axle 4-link meant it wasn't as capable at climbing things. It wasn't as capable a crawler, but it was a wonderful little scale truck, and it was almost like you could tackle the forest. What was that noise? You could tackle the forest trails, and then you could sort of, when you needed that extra bit of grip, that extra bit of grunt, it did have that capability to pull itself out of the mud, out of the mire. It could climb a little bit. It couldn't keep up with the likes of an RCX-10 or anything, but it was not what it was designed for. It was just different, and it had character, and character will do. This new one may well have a lot of character, but it just looks like it's followed the trend of everybody else and brings nothing sort of new or Tamiya-ish to the table. And I might be completely wrong. I've got no doubts that the G500 body shell, by the way, Mercedes are getting a lot of love these days from the crawler community. Yeah, I'm no doubt that the G500 body shell will look fantastic, and it will be a Tamiya, so it'll have good quality plastics and all the rest of it, and I'm sure it'll be reliable, and it'll have rivers of upgrades available to it. I don't know why I use the word rivers, but it seemed appropriate. But the CC-01 just has so much charm. I still think right now I would buy a CC-01. But we'll see what the price is going to be like in the CC-02. We'll see what features they bring to the table. Tamiya might play a blinder. But we'll wait and see. Also, they've released a clear orange coloured little centipede robot. Alright, time to move on to videos of the week and the shout out. Now, RC video of the week this week goes to, and I've done this before, but it's not my fault, he makes great videos, Mateo's RC Movies, with his, I think, second newest video now, Lancia 037, no, Tamiya Lancia 037 on an Alpine rally. Brilliant artsy shots, great photography, great camera work, just, it all comes together, and of course the 037 is just... Alright, now, video of the week. Now, are you a fan of heavy metal, war history, naval combat, and enormous battleships with giant 15-inch artillery cannons? Surprisingly, you can find all of these things in the same video. Now, unless you don't know already what I'm talking about, Sabaton have released their newest single a couple of months ago now, 2-3 months ago. It's about the sinking of the Bismarck by the Royal Navy. It's called Bismarck, and it's a ridiculously over-the-top music video. They say it's about the sinking of the Bismarck, but I think it's more about the fact that they wanted to put as much explosions and battleships and combat and manliness in the same video as possible. It's epic. Check it out, and I'll put a link for that, of course. And shout out this week goes to George Liston, who's one of the subscribers who have been following from basically the start, and has always got something good to say, and drops in every now and again, says hello, and he's one of the people I recognise from being way back from once the channel first started. So thank you, George, for being a supporter all this time. I appreciate it. Okay guys, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.